How do you mess up an interview so disastrously when you've got a chance to speak to Morgan Freeman?
I had a question, but we run out of time.
Well, it's tenacious if we would just leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Because the way The View tried to use him as a rubber stamp for their dumb political takes before shutting down the interview when he tried to stay neutral was one of the lowest moments in The View's history.
I don't want to be called African American.
Why is that?
I'm not African.
Maybe. It is.
It is true.
Subscribe to Elites Exposed for more, and just take a look for yourself before I tell you what really happened.
I'm one of those people who's very, very interested in this subject, life on the planet. Mm-hmm. You understand that today, life on the planet is in a little bit of trouble. Mm-hmm. And we're the cause of it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
There have been, if I remember correctly, 6 extinction-level events on the planet since life began. I mean, 6 times, large portions of life, not human life we're talking just life, gone, destroyed. We're headed for another one. Scientists have said if we don't hurry up and change our ways, there's going to be a cataclysmic event. You look back, and this series does that. How far back does life exist on this planet? And why does it still exist? It is because life is tenacious. Life. We're not talking about human beings here. We're talking about the planet.
Yeah.
She'll stay.
Yeah.
Well, it's tenacious if we would just leave it alone. Leave it alone. And the human interruption of all of that is what's causing all the problems. I hope that it's not too late. But let me ask you this, Jeff. Seeing the rise and fall of all these species, because some are coming in too, right? Mm-hmm. And many are leaving the planet. Mm-hmm. Did that change your perspective on life?
My perspective on life? I don't think it changed my perspective. It just enhanced it. Mm-hmm. Because for a long time now, I've been listening to what they say about, I drive an electric car.
Yeah.
Wait, did Joy Behar seriously try to box Morgan Freeman into a climate change talking point? Because if you've actually watched the documentary Life on Our Planet, it literally tries to take you out of our modern climate scientism and show you just how inconsequential humans really are in the grand scheme of the planet. Plus, I think Morgan Freeman knew exactly the slippery slope he'd be stepping on if he went down that political tangent. Because there's a whole bunch of modern ideologies born out of this zero-sum thinking that pits humans and nature against one another. And that includes controversial ideas like old Malthusian economics that believes human populations are a burden on themselves, to even modern fringe movements like anti-natalism that literally call for the voluntary extinction of the human race to rid the planet of the curse of our species. That's the slippery slope I'm talking about. And that's the ugly political tint that Morgan Freeman never wanted his documentary to get. Though, of course, since Sunny Hostin was on the panel, she couldn't resist making it about racial politics instead when she brought up another one of his documentaries.
I want to ask you about a different documentary.
Go ahead.
As some politicians around the country try to erase Black history, you're making sure people don't forget vital parts of our past, including this documentary that you executive produced called 761st. Did I get that right? Yeah, 761st Tank Battalion, the original Black Panthers, about the first Black battalion to fight in World War II.
First Black Armored Battalion.
Yes, and you served in the Air Force. I know that. This film was then very personal to you.
Oh, yes, heavens. Start in the 40s and move up. And how many times did I see Black people in the movies? And if I did see them, what were they doing?
There were servants. They were always. I know it's appalling.
I can give you the name.
If you watch old movies, Betty Davis movies are particularly, even though she's great, and
it's the period.
It's not her fault. It's the period. It's upsetting to watch. Tell you the truth.
It shouldn't be that way because somebody did make money.
Yeah.
That's the time. Now look at today. Things we're always in flux.
Yeah.
Always.
But we've always been here.
Yeah.
Fluxing out.
Exactly.
I had a question, but we run out of time. Listen, this is extraordinary, this documentary.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Now listen, I just refuse to believe that of the 40 or so minutes that The View usually drones on for, that all they really had for Morgan Freeman was less than 5 minutes. Unless, of course, that they actually removed a large segment of him from the final cut, which is a whole other level of disrespect. But here's what I think really happened. They tried turning Morgan Freeman into an avatar for their preferred political talking points on environmental guilt and racial victimhood, but then didn't really know what to do next when he refused to become that political avatar. And I feel like it's such a waste and disrespect just sending off this 85-year-old legend after barely 5 minutes on air. Though if you've had the displeasure of having watched The View enough times, you know how invasive the producers backstage are, often stopping the show or forcing legal notes in the middle of the broadcast when things stop going according to plan.
The meetings that they're supposed to go to, when they're listening to, what the hell, what?
I love when Sonny passes notes.
We don't know if Trump used an auto pen to part. It was a joke.
Yeah. Nikki Haley.
Are you talking to me?
No,
Why are you talking to me right now?
See, it could be distracting,
Is this what
though.
you're doing?
Yeah, I was just going to
Is
say,
this what
maybe
we're
this
doing?
is the debate, because I'm distracted by Paul, too.
And maybe that's kind of what happened in this exchange with Morgan Freeman, because I was actually able to dig up a much older clip of him on The View from over 15 years ago, where I think he makes it clear how much he hates when someone uses race or racial identity as a political talking point.
I want to talk to you about something that we talked about in Hot Topics last week regarding you, supposedly saying that President Obama is not our first black president. Can you explain to people what you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was playing golf with Bill Clinton not too long ago, and I said, you know, people are saying Obama's the first black president, and he's not. He's the first mixed race president. You're the first black president. And I don't know where that went. I don't know how that got all...
It went crazy.
Yeah.
So you were being funny.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I see, but they took it quite seriously.
Yeah, well, the thing that's wrong with this whole Obama thing is that everybody seems to forget that he had a mama and she was white.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you know.
Right.
But the world, that may be true, but the world perceives...
Maybe. It is.
It is true, but the world perceives him as African-American.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you got two different colored parents, the darker one is going to get the weight.
Yes,
absolutely.
that's right.
You know, your parents are going to tell you, don't go around telling people you're white.
Yeah. Because really, if the KKK was walking down the street and they saw Bill Clinton and they saw President Obama, they're going to chase Obama.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
listen.
We just wanted to clear that up because
Yes.
people went crazy with it, and we even talked about it at Hot Topics. So we're glad you had a
It's
chance
getting so with tweet and
social media.
and blog and all of that, you can't say anything.
No, you can't say jack.
And he's right, because you're not listening to some partisan political hack talking about race here. You're talking about one of Hollywood's greatest icons, and someone who's lived through 8 decades of the most transformative years in this country for race relations and the civil rights movement. Morgan Freeman knows that the moment you label him with a racial identity, you put him in a box. And the whole point of the civil rights fight was for Black America to be freed of that suffocating box.
You just mentioned there kind of a black actor, and you've spoken in the past about how you don't like the term African American.
No, I don't mind the term African American. I don't want to be called African American.
Why is that?
I'm not African.
What is your view of the issue of race in Hollywood?
I don't think there is an issue of race in Hollywood. And of course, Hollywood is colorblind. It only sees green.
And that's because I think he understands one thing. The people trying to use their race as a moral cudgel in one place or a victim card in another are doing as much damage to Black America as anyone else in the past. That's because in a place like Hollywood, it turns them into a racial token, a moral brownie point that studios and producers give themselves to check diversity boxes. That's exactly what you see in these absurd racial quotas in casting that the Oscars made mandatory a couple years back just for a film to qualify qualify for nomination. When you do that, instead of pushing someone down for their race like in the past, you're just giving them a nudge forward to make yourself feel virtuous. To me, that's just a new kind of bigotry. The bigotry of low expectations. That's also part of why he's so opposed to something like Black History Month, just for how it ironically segregates Black American history into a box separate from America's collective national history.
Black History Month you find
ridiculous.
Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace, you know me as Morgan Freeman.
And if it weren't for someone with the stature of Morgan Freeman, I don't think these bitter truths would go down so well on mainstream media. But if you're ready to see someone be a lot more blunt on the role of race in Hollywood, watch how Denzel Washington confronted these racially charged questions and subscribe to Elites Exposed for more.